WWE has always thrived on unpredictability, but every so often a night arrives that shakes the very core of the company and leaves fans talking for weeks. And such was the case when Brock Lesnar, the Beast incarnate himself, launched an unprovoked attack on rising star Bronson Reed. The moment unfolded suddenly, with Reed riding high from a major victory and the crowd buzzing with energy, only for the entire atmosphere to change when Lesnar stormed the ring. What followed was not just another appearance by the Beast, but an emphatic reminder of why his name still carries so much weight in professional wrestling, with suplexes, strikes, and an aura of intensity that reminded fans that no one is safe when Lesnar decides to make a statement. The rise of Bronson Reed. For months, Bronson Reed had been carving out a reputation as one of WWE's most promising new talents, a unique competitor whose agility and strength set him apart in a crowded field of superstars. Reed's combination of size and athleticism had earned him victories over established names, and with each performance, the crowd began to rally behind him more and more. He had momentum, confidence, and a growing reputation as a man to watch. But as history has shown time and again, WWE's landscape is often disrupted just when a star appears to be on the brink of a breakthrough. Reed's growing popularity may have made him a target, and on this night that target was exploited in the most shocking fashion possible by one of the most dangerous men in the business. Brock Lesnar's unparalleled legacy. To understand the impact of the attack, one must first acknowledge the career of Brock Lesnar, a performer whose name is synonymous with dominance. From the moment he arrived in WWE, Lesnar redefined what it meant to be a powerhouse, toppling legends like The Rock, ending The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak, and standing as a multi-time world champion. His aura has always been his greatest weapon, a mix of legitimacy from his time in UFC and raw power that makes him feel less like a performer and more like a force of nature. Whenever he enters a WWE arena, fans know chaos is near, and his ambush of Reed reminded everyone of that fact. This wasn't just a superstar making his presence felt. This was Lesnar showing that his dominance is timeless. The moment that changed everything. The actual attack unfolded with a sense of immediacy that made it all the more shocking. Reed had just secured a significant win and was in the middle of celebrating when Lesnar arrived. Without fanfare, without music, he charged the ring and began dismantling the Australian powerhouse in front of a stunned audience. Suplex after suplex reverberated through the arena, each one more punishing than the last. While Reed struggled to find his footing, the crowd's cheers quickly turned into gasps, their excitement replaced by silence as they tried to process what they were seeing. Lesnar's strikes weren't just moves in a ring, they were declarations of supremacy, reminders that he could take over a show in an instant and leave it transformed. Social media erupts. As is the case in modern wrestling, the attack immediately spilled over into the digital world, with fans flooding social media to react in real time. Within minutes, hashtags connected to Lesnar and Reed were trending worldwide, clips of the attack circulating faster than the commentary could catch up. Some fans praised the return of Lesnar's destructive persona, calling it vintage Beast incarnate, while others expressed concern for Reed and frustration that his rise had been cut short so violently. One fan tweeted that Lesnar was still a monster like no one else, while another lamented that Bronson never stood a chance. The split reactions underscored the duality of the moment. It was both thrilling and unsettling, a mixture of awe and worry that made it unforgettable. The voices of fellow superstars. It wasn't just fans who reacted strongly to the scene. WWE stars themselves quickly weighed in, offering their perspectives and adding to the intensity of the moment. Seth Rollins, who knows Lesnar better than most, tweeted that the Beast was always dangerous, but that this felt like something else entirely. Rhea Ripley, showing support for her fellow competitor, noted that the attack was hard to watch and sent her encouragement to Reed. Their words highlighted the emotional impact of the incident, showing that even those accustomed to the spectacle of WWE were unsettled by the ferocity Lesnar displayed. What motivated Lesnar? With the dust still settling, speculation immediately turned to motive. Why Bronson Reed, and why now? Lesnar's actions are rarely random, and fans began to theorize whether this was simply about asserting dominance, sending a message to the locker room, or laying the groundwork for a new rivalry. Reed's rising popularity may have painted a target on his back, and Lesnar could have chosen him as the perfect candidate to remind the WWE Universe that the Beast incarnate still runs unchecked. Others suggested that this was less about Reed and more about WWE storytelling, setting up a new narrative thread that could grow into one of the most intriguing rivalries of the year. Reed's moment of adversity for Bronson Reed, the ambush marked a career crossroads. On one hand, it was a setback, halting the momentum he had been building and leaving him shaken in front of thousands. On the other, it was the kind of moment that has historically made stars. Many legends in WWE lore have been forged not in victory, but in their ability to rise after devastating defeats. Reed now has the opportunity to take this adversity, channel it into determination, and return stronger than before. How he responds will define him in the eyes of fans. Will he crumble under the weight of Lesnar's assault? Or will he prove himself resilient enough to turn this loss into fuel for a greater climb? The potential for a rivalry. If WWE chooses to explore it, the seeds are planted for a compelling feud between Reed and Lesnar. The contrast is natural. An established juggernaut whose dominance has spanned decades against a rising star, eager to prove that he belongs on the biggest stage. The storyline almost writes itself, with Reed seeking redemption and Lesnar standing as the immovable obstacle in his path. Such a rivalry could elevate Reed into the main event scene, while simultaneously reinforcing Lesnar's role as the ultimate test. Fans are already speculating about potential rematches, pay-per-view showdowns, and the possibility that Reed could be the next in line to step fully into the spotlight by battling and surviving the Beast. Implications for WWE's creative direction. The broader implications of the attack extend beyond the two men involved. WWE has always walked a fine line between scripted spectacle and raw intensity, and this moment leaned heavily toward the latter. By allowing Lesnar's ambush to play out in such a shocking manner, WWE signaled a willingness to embrace unpredictability and raw emotion in its storytelling. Fans often reminisce about eras where anything could happen, and this felt like a return to that spirit. If this incident is any indication, WWE may be embracing a creative shift that prioritizes shocking, visceral moments to keep audiences engaged. The locker room impact. Inside the locker room, the ripple effect was just as significant. Lesnar's dominance has always inspired a mix of fear and respect, but by targeting Reed so directly, he sent a message to every competitor. No one is untouchable. Younger stars may now see Reed as a symbol, a man who took Lesnar's best and lived to fight another day, while veterans will recognize the danger of standing in the Beast's path. Either way, the aura surrounding Lesnar remains intact, and Reed's involvement ensures that his name will be mentioned in the same breath as some of the most memorable Lesnar moments in history. A shift in perception. Perhaps the most important outcome of the night is the shift in how both men are perceived. Lesnar reinforced his identity as the ultimate disruptor, the man who can alter the trajectory of a show or even an entire storyline with a single action. Reed, meanwhile, may have lost the battle but gained something equally valuable: recognition. By being chosen as the target of Lesnar's wrath, he has been thrust into a spotlight that could accelerate his ascent. For fans, it was a reminder that WWE's landscape is constantly evolving, and that sometimes the most shocking detours become the most important parts of the journey. The legacy of the moment. As the lights dimmed and the show moved on, one truth was clear. The night Brock Lesnar attacked Bronson Reed will be remembered for years to come. It was not just another ambush or another storyline beat. It was a turning point for both men and for WWE itself. For Reed, it was the harshest test yet of his resolve, and a chance to prove his resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. For Lesnar, it was another chapter in a career defined by dominance and disruption. And for fans, it was the kind of night that reminds them why they watch. Because just when you think you know what will happen, WWE delivers a shock that changes everything.